The moment your paycheck hits your account, you have exactly 15 seconds before your brain starts making terrible financial decisions. I'm not kidding. 15 seconds is all it takes for most people to mentally spend money they haven't even seen yet. Your brain starts calculating how much you can blow on that new gadget, how many times you can order takeout, whether you can finally afford those shoes sitting in your cart since last Tuesday. But what if I told you those same 15 seconds could be the difference between staying broke forever and actually building real wealth? What if there was a simple routine every time you get paid that would automatically put you ahead of 90% of people financially? My name is Alex, and I've spent years figuring out what to do with money the moment it shows up in your account. If you're tired of wondering where all your cash goes every month and you actually want to build something meaningful, stick around, because what I'm about to share could change everything. Here's something that might shock you. The average person has no clue what happens to their money after they get paid. They know rent gets paid somehow, food appears in their kitchen, Netflix magically renews. But beyond that, complete financial chaos. Like, they're basically financial sleepwalkers stumbling through life wondering why they never have anything left over at the end of the month. Most people treat their paycheck like a surprise birthday gift instead of the powerful wealth building tool it actually is. They get excited when it arrives, spend most of it on random stuff they probably don't need, then spend the next 2 weeks eating cereal for dinner and checking their bank balance obsessively. But successful people do something completely different. They have a system, a routine, and that routine starts the moment their paycheck arrives. It's not complicated, it's not sexy. It definitely won't get you a million followers, but it works. And once you start doing it, you'll wonder how you ever manage money any other way. The secret is understanding your paycheck isn't just money you earned. It's your future financial freedom chopped up into monthly installments. Every dollar that comes in is a tiny building block that can either contribute to your wealth or disappear into the black hole of mindless spending. Most people approach this backwards. They pay all their bills, buy whatever they want, then try to save whatever's left over. Spoiler alert. There's never anything left over. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a giant hole in the bottom and wondering why you can't hold water. People who actually build wealth flip this entire process. They pay themselves first, allocate every dollar with intention, and make their money work as hard as they do to earn it. Think about it this way. If you make $50,000 a year and save 10% consistently, you're going to be in better shape than someone making $100,000 who spends every penny. The person making less but following a system will retire comfortably, while the higher earner works until they're 80 because they never learned how to manage what they had. First step. You need to determine what percentage of your income goes toward necessities. These are things you literally cannot live without: housing costs, food that keeps you alive, basic transportation, essential utilities, healthcare. Notice I didn't include your premium cable package, your gym membership you never use, or your subscription to 17 different streaming services. Those might feel necessary when you're binge watching your favorite show, but they're not required for survival. Here's where most people get this completely wrong. They look at expenses and convince themselves everything is necessary. That expensive car payment becomes essential transportation. Daily coffee shop visits become necessary fuel. Weekly restaurant meals become crucial social activities. But here's the reality check you probably don't want to hear. If you're spending more than 60% of your take-home pay on true necessities, you're either living somewhere too expensive for your income, or you're calling luxuries necessities because it makes you feel better about spending. Let me give you a real example. Someone earning $75,000 yearly. After taxes, they're taking home roughly $4,750 monthly. If rent is $1,800, car payment $400, food $500, they're already at $2,700. That's about 57% of take-home pay, which is actually pretty reasonable. But that same person might think they're barely scraping by if they're also paying for streaming, eating out regularly, buying coffee daily, making other small purchases that seem insignificant but add up to hundreds monthly. The key is being brutally honest about what you actually need versus what you want. Your future financial freedom depends on making this distinction clearly and consistently. Second step, make sure you're staying current on any debt payments. This isn't about paying off all debt immediately. This is about protecting your credit score and avoiding late fees that destroy financial progress. Your credit score is like your financial reputation, and that reputation affects almost everything. It determines what interest rate you'll pay on a mortgage, whether you qualify for decent car loans, sometimes even whether you can rent an apartment or get certain jobs. Here's something surprising. The difference between excellent credit and terrible credit often comes down to just one missed payment. If you make 99% of payments on time, that's considered good. Drop to 97%, your score tanks dramatically. Think about that. In school, 97% gets you an A+. In credit scoring, it labels you high risk. The credit system is unforgiving, but rules are simple. Make minimum payments on time every time, and your score takes care of itself. Third step, building an emergency fund. I know. Emergency funds are about as exciting as watching paint dry, but this might be the most important part of your entire financial strategy. An emergency fund is money you set aside for when life throws curveballs. And trust me, life loves throwing curveballs. Your car breaks down before your big presentation laptop dies when you need it most. Your dog eats something expensive and needs emergency surgery. Tuesday. The goal is 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved in an account you can access immediately. Not invested in stocks where it might lose value when you need it. Not locked in some CD you can't touch. Just sitting there in a boring savings account ready to rescue you when everything goes wrong. If monthly necessities cost $2,700, your emergency fund should be somewhere between $8,000 and $16,000. That might sound impossible, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck. But remember, you're not saving it all at once. Here's the thing about emergency funds nobody talks about. They're not just about the money. They're about peace of mind. When you have 3 to 6 months sitting in savings, you sleep differently. You walk into work with more confidence because you know if something happens to your job, you won't be eating ramen and living in your car next month. Real quick, drop a comment. Tell me which of these steps you're already doing and which one you're going to start this week. I read every comment, and honestly, your feedback helps me know what to create next. Fourth step, start investing for your future self. This is where compound interest magic begins working in your favor. If your employer offers any retirement plan with matching contributions, this should be your absolute first priority. Think about employer matching like this. If your boss walked up every month and offered free money in exchange for you putting some in a retirement account, you'd think they lost their mind, right? But that's literally what employer matching is. Free money most people leave on the table because they don't understand how powerful it is. Let's say your company matches 3% of salary and you make $60,000 yearly. That means if you contribute $1,800 annually, your employer also contributes $1,800. You just doubled your money instantly. Show me another investment that guarantees 100% return on day one. Beyond the employer match, aim to invest about 10% of gross income for retirement. This might sound like a lot, but this money works for you over decades. Earlier you start, less you need to contribute monthly to reach retirement goals. Here's something that might blow your mind. If someone starts investing $300 monthly at age 25 and earns 8% annually, they'll have around $1 million by 65. Wait until 35 to start investing the same amount. Only $400,000 at retirement. That 10-year delay costs $600,000. Time is literally money when it comes to investing. Every month you wait to start is money you're throwing away. But here's what's crazy. Most people overthink this to the point where they never actually start. They spend months researching perfect investment strategy, reading about different funds, analyzing expense ratios like they're solving world hunger. The truth is, for most people, a simple diversified index fund that tracks the overall stock market is perfectly adequate. You don't need to pick individual stocks, time the market, or outsmart professionals. Just start investing consistently and let compound interest do the heavy lifting. Fifth step, tackle any debt that's not your mortgage. This is where things get emotionally charged because debt often represents past mistakes or circumstances beyond our control. There are two main strategies. Both work if you stick to them. First is the avalanche method where you pay off debts with highest interest rates. First, mathematically, this saves the most money in interest over time. Second approach is the snowball method where you pay off smallest debts first regardless of interest rates. This isn't the most financially optimal, but it can be incredibly motivating because you see debts disappearing quickly, which gives you momentum to keep going. I personally prefer snowball because personal finance is more about psychology than mathematics. If paying off your smallest debt first keeps you motivated, that's the right strategy even if it costs a few extra dollars in interest. The key is picking one method and sticking with it until all non-mortgage debt is gone. Don't overthink it. Don't switch strategies halfway through. And definitely don't ignore debt, hoping it magically disappears. Sixth step. After employer match and you're making progress on debt, start exploring other investment options like opening your own retirement accounts or investing in taxable brokerage accounts. A Roth retirement account is particularly attractive because all your gains grow completely tax-free. You pay taxes on money you contribute now, but when you retire and start withdrawing funds, you won't owe any taxes on growth. It's like planting a tree today and never paying taxes on the fruit it produces for the rest of your life. For regular investment accounts outside retirement plans, tax situation is different. You'll pay capital gains taxes when you sell investments for profit, but the rate depends on how long you held it. Hold more than a year, lower long-term capital gains rates. Hold less than a year, regular income tax rates. This is why successful investors think long-term. They're not trying to get rich quick buying and selling constantly. They're building wealth slowly and steadily while minimizing what they pay in taxes. The final step ties everything together. And honestly, this is the step that separates people who actually build wealth from people who just talk about it. You need to automate everything we just discussed. Here's the thing about willpower. It's like a muscle that gets tired throughout the day. You might wake up Monday morning motivated to manage money perfectly, but by Thursday evening, when you're tired from work and stressed about life, that motivation has completely evaporated. You'll look at your bank account and think, I'll just move money to savings next week when I have more energy. Spoiler alert, next week you'll have even less energy. This is why automation is absolutely critical. When money moves automatically according to your plan, you remove human emotion and laziness from the equation entirely. Your money gets allocated properly, whether you're having a good day or terrible day, whether you're motivated or completely burned out. Here's how I personally handle automation. When my paycheck hits checking, I let it sit exactly one day. Not because money needs time to settle, but because I'm paranoid about timing and want everything to clear properly. Then the day after I get paid, automatic transfers happen like clockwork. Predetermined amount moves from checking to savings. From there, other automatic transfers move money to specific goals. Maybe some goes to emergency fund if I'm still building it. Maybe some goes to investment accounts. Maybe some goes to separate account where I save for taxes if I'm self-employed. The beautiful thing about this system is I never have to think about it. Never have to remember to move money around. Never have to fight temptation to spend money that should go toward my future. It just happens automatically, like rent or my phone bill. But here's where most people mess up automation completely. They set up transfers, then forget to adjust when their situation changes. They get a raise but keep saving the same dollar amount instead of increasing savings rate. They pay off debt but forget to redirect that monthly payment toward investments. They're running on financial autopilot but never update their flight plan. This paycheck routine isn't rocket science, but it works because most people never actually follow a system. Start treating your money like the wealth building tool it is instead of Monopoly, money you found in your couch cushions. Know your necessities. Stay current on debt minimums. Build that emergency fund. Max out employer match. Pay off high interest debt. Invest for the future and automate everything. Stick to the plan, and in 5 years you'll be laughing at how simple it was while everyone else is still wondering where their money disappeared to. If this gave you a clear roadmap for what to do every time you get paid, hit that subscribe button right now. I'm Alex, this is Capital Theory, and we're building a community that actually understands how money works. Drop a comment telling me which step you're going to implement first, and I'll see you in the next one.